My name is Colin Ferguson and I'm pleased to introduce myself and also the organisation I lead, the Association of University Administrators, or the AUA. I have around 11 years experience of working with the higher education sector. However, my trajectory to getting there has been somewhat unusual. Whilst I was a student at school, I had very little interest in being there, and that meant that I left school with few qualifications. And that meant I went straight out into the world of work and took on some junior roles in HR and finance within the NHS. I consider myself quite lucky and I didn't particularly enjoy the work that I was doing, and that was the impetus for me to return to education. So I embarked on an access course and also took some further GCSEs, doing that alongside a full-time job and a part-time job to save some money in order to return to education. I was very lucky to gain a place at Cambridge and I spent 3 very happy years there. After graduating, I had a spell working in Dublin at the Department of Health, setting up new cancer screening centres around Ireland. This then led me to a point when I was considering where I wanted to be, and I made a move to Manchester, where I took up a place on the Teach First Leadership Development Programme, which aims to level the playing field for children in education. This then led on to various roles within teacher training and eventually taking up a director post leading the northwest of England and latterly the northeast as well for a spell. As an independent organisation, we placed a high value on working with innovative university partners. This allowed me a privileged view of how universities work, both in terms of the real value that universities uniquely offer, as well as the challenges that exist within institutions. But one of the things that I did walk away with was a real admiration of what universities offer to society. Let me tell you a little bit about the association. The AUA is the professional association for higher education professionals. It's open to anybody from within the sector who has a non-academic role. Not only do we provide a voice to higher education professionals from within the sector, we exist to support, encourage, connect and develop our members as they progress through their careers. Our members often think of us as an extension of their own professional network. So we help connect them with like-minded individuals, with individuals from institutions that they may not have the opportunity to come into contact with. The message and the purpose of the AUA is quite simple. We exist to connect, develop and support HE professionals. And through that, we put the members at the heart of everything that we do. I've been asked what a typical day in my role looks like, and to be honest, there is no typical day. It could be focusing on strategy development, preparing for board meetings, or getting out there and meeting our members, as well as stakeholders from institutions. And really what I try to do is strike a balance between internal and external activities, but always making sure that members are at the core of what I do, because ultimately that is why the AUA exists. There are things that all of us enjoy and find challenging about our roles. For me, in terms of what I enjoy most, it's definitely the variety, as well as all of the people I've got to meet from across the sector, dedicated to delivering excellence. And this drive is something that I'm taking forward as we shape the AUA for today and tomorrow. In terms of challenges, I think as a small but ambitious organisation, I have to stagger or prioritise the things that we would like to do, and I sometimes find this frustrating. I'm somebody who likes to achieve things and achieve them now. In terms of challenges that the association faces, we have a 60-year heritage and we're very proud of that, but we also need to build on that foundation and make sure that the organisation evolves as we move through a strategy development process, really focusing on what can we offer to the sector, what can we offer to our members, and crucially, what is our identity and purpose. We're engaging on an extensive strategy review process, and as part of that, I'll be coming out to speak to many of you in your regional groups. And I really look forward to hearing your thoughts and your suggestions for how we can build a membership association that ultimately lots of your professional services staff will be members of, to ensure that it's serving our members, but also serving the sector as a whole. I've been asked to consider challenges that the higher education sector faces, and of course there are many that we could focus on. However, for me, I think the most significant is funding. The cost of living crisis is touching all aspects of society, including higher education. Just this week, I read that the Pro-Vice Chancellors from across the country are calling for a fee increase for universities. And I think universities are looking at this because they are focused on providing the very best education that they can, high quality and competitive, to students here in the UK, but also making sure that they continue to be able to compete on an international stage. And I think this is particularly important when we think about how the UK is trying to position itself in a post-Brexit world. Of course, when you take into account the outcomes of the Augur review, which advocates for rebalancing of further education, higher education, that is likely to add some additional funding pressures as well. Throughout my career, there have been many individuals who have inspired me. However, if I had to identify one, I think I would mention Lord Simon Woolley. He grew up in a council estate in Leicester and made his way to the House of Lords, and is also the principal of Homerton College, Cambridge, which is where I studied myself for my undergrad. Also, I can see some similarities between Simon and myself in terms of our beginnings in life, and I think for me, I'm trying to look at what he has achieved through his career and use that to spur me on as I move on with my professional endeavours as well. I can highly recommend his memoirs, Soar.